Hi, welcome to Courageous Journeys. I'm Peggy Oliveira. Thanks for joining me. Today's video is a reminder, an important reminder of the truth of who you are. And I know this to be true because you're watching this video right now. And that is that you are incredibly courageous. Yes, you. And I know that because in watching this video, you are facing something. You're allowing yourself to kind of, in a sense, confront, to be with difficulty, maybe even trauma, struggle. You're choosing that. So that itself shows that you're courageous. I wanted to do this video today because I just kind of felt like there might be a couple of you who might need that reminder. And part of that is because it's something that always comes up at different times, but I feel like I've been hearing this, or it's been coming up a little bit more lately. And that is the idea that because you're struggling, because you're not where you think you should be, that somehow you're not courageous. And it's just simply not true. We get messages often. Sometimes they're messages that we say to ourselves. It's our own voice. And oftentimes it's from people around us, sometimes even well-meaning people. We hear it from friends and family. We hear it from like television and movies. We hear it lots of different places, social media for sure. But the idea is that when you are on this journey, when you are acknowledging that you're struggling or facing really difficult or challenging or traumatic experiences, that somehow you're stuck in the past, that you're dwelling on it, that you just need to move forward, that by talking about all of those things, you're keeping yourself stuck, and therefore you're depressed because you refuse to move away from it. And even in the last, I don't know, 7 years or so, even the whole like spiritual community, well, not the whole, but in terms of social media presence and all of that, I would say it's pretty much most of it. But like the spirituality movement of high vibe kind of thing. Like when you think about those things, when you talk about those things, that keeps you in a low vibration. And so therefore, you feel that way, you feel like you're struggling because you're stuck in this low vibration. You need to start focusing on the positive things. You need to stop dwelling on the past, stop reliving it. And again, sometimes that can come from well-meaning people who don't want you to struggle. But if you notice who those people are, my guess is that it's probably not somebody that has a significant amount of mental health training, like professional mental health training, or experience. And there is a difference, and I've talked about that before, so I'm not going to get into that right now. But those messages, while sometimes born from a place of not wanting you to be in a place of struggle, they're really not only not helpful, but shaming as well. And this has come up a lot with my clients over the years, and also in things that people have shared with me outside of client work. One of the things is that for people themselves, when they are on this healing journey, they will say things to themselves or to me about not really being courageous because they feel like they didn't have a choice in starting this journey. And that's not true. They'll feel like, they'll say something like, well, if I were really courageous, then I would have done it a long time ago. If I were really courageous, then I'd be further along than I am. If I were really courageous, I'd be able to set that boundary. I wouldn't struggle so much. Like any number of things, but none of that is based in truth. But it's an idea because we tend to not see ourselves as courageous, that no matter what it is that we're doing, we're going to have a hard time acknowledging that it takes courage to be there. But without any doubt whatsoever, if you're watching this video, it's because you recognize that there's some aspect of struggle in your life. You likely recognize that there's some trauma in your life. Most of the people that watch my channel have trauma histories. Good chance that you've done some work around healing in some way, whatever that might look like, and you've not given up. So if that isn't you, I'd actually love to hear from you in the comments, because that means that there are more people watching my videos than I thought. And if that is you, I'd love to know that in the comments too, because you're not alone. But the truth is that every one of those things that I mentioned, not only is it not true, but like the idea of being further along, the courage presents itself in starting the journey, in continuing the journey, even when you feel like you want to give up, even when you're not sure that it's actually going to help. That takes courage. It takes resilience and perseverance and strength as well, but it definitely takes courage. But people get hung up on, well, if I were really strong, or if I were really courageous, then all these other things wouldn't be the way that they are. But that's just simply not true. It takes, and this is really true, think about this. It really does take courage to allow yourself the space, the time, the energy, the difficulty of looking at things that you have worked really hard, even if unconsciously, at keeping away. And again, there's no shame in that. There's nothing wrong with that. It serves an important purpose. And you worked really hard at that. But that was all automatic, right? When you decide to take that box off the shelf, which is what you're doing and watching this video right now, when you decide to do that, when you're making a conscious choice to do that, that's incredibly courageous, because most people keep that box on a shelf. Most people are not even willing to accept that there's a box or a shelf. That is the reality. Even people who do the work, that's often the case, because the work that they're doing is very surface. And this isn't disparaging to anybody. It's just what we're kind of taught and the messages that we're given about what it all means. And that's part of why I talk about this, because I want people to understand that we have these wounds inside of us that are greatly affecting how we feel and how we show up in the world. We all do. But we're not taught about it. We're not encouraged to understand what it is. We're not even encouraged to connect with how we actually feel. We're told so often to not feel how we're feeling, or that's not really how we feel, or we shouldn't feel that way. So recognizing that that box and that shelf exist, and then being willing to take it off that shelf, and open it up, especially day after day when you're on this journey, that takes courage. Real courage, because it's not easy. It was easier to pretend that it didn't exist. That came natural. Automatic, right? Choosing every day to stay on this journey. Even when you feel like giving up. Even if you have given up at times. But if you're watching this video, you have not given up now. And even if you watch this video and go on with your day or your week and don't think about it again, that doesn't matter. In this moment, as you're watching this video, for however long you watch this video, or any other videos you end up watching on my channel, or certainly other videos as well related to this, you're choosing, consciously choosing to do the difficult thing, to connect to yourself, to your body, to your thoughts, to your emotions. That really is courageous. Because we really are taught to not do that. We are even told sometimes that it's weak to feel certain things. It's weak to ask for support. It's weak to go to therapy. How many times have you heard that, either from somebody you know or the messages that were given in all other kinds of ways? It takes courage to reach out for help or support, whether that's a friend or a therapist. To allow yourself to be vulnerable and share with somebody that you're struggling with something, to share a part of your story with somebody, that takes courage. Don't ever let anybody tell you that it doesn't. Don't let your own mind, your own fears, your own doubts try to tell you something different. Because it's not true. You are courageous, and there is no question about that. Don't forget that. Thank you for watching. If you've not yet subscribed to my channel, make sure you do so and click the little bell for notifications. I would love to hear from you in the comments, your thoughts, your reactions. How often have you said to yourself you're not courageous because of something that isn't really based in truth? You just have an expectation of yourself that is really probably quite unrealistic. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. If you think that this video, this message could be helpful to somebody, I would really love for you to consider sharing it with them. This is a message I think that is important for all of us. And I know sometimes I need to remind myself too. So thanks for watching. If you have a question you'd like me to answer, you can send it to qanda@courageousjourneys.com. I will put that link in the description below. Have a beautiful day.